Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. Wreck This Journal 20 is here. 20! So many of you were requesting for me to bring this series back. I mean, look at this, literally all these comments and more. I'm happy that you guys are enjoying it so much. There may or may not be a giveaway involved. There is. There's gonna be two winners, one here on YouTube. You're going to win a Wreck This Journal and your choice of a color pack of Tombow brush markers. If you'd like a chance to win, leave a comment below telling me your absolute favorite Wreck This Journal page that I've done in any of my episodes number 1 through 20, and tell me why you like that page, why it's your favorite, and also tell me that you're entering. So there's two parts to the comment, and you also have to be a subscriber, so really easy. I'll type out full rules in the description box below, so be sure to check those out. And as an added bonus, if you would like to be notified every single time I post, click that bell notification, but it's not required. I'm also going to be giving away the exact same things on Instagram, so go on over there and follow me if you want to be a part of that giveaway as well. Then you'll have double the chances of winning. If you do plan on entering, I wish you guys the best of luck, but now let's get on into the pages. First prompt, I'm going to color this entire page. For those of you who are caught up with my most recent uploads, you probably will recognize all of these supplies. I have the vintage paint set, my acrylic paints from the pour painting prank that I did, as well as the Crayola Super Tips markers from the 100 markers 1 drawing challenge. You can see I decided to start out with the watercolor paint, and I'm just doing a light wash to color in the background of the title at the top. Now I'm taking some markers and I'm just scribbling patches of random colors everywhere. Okay, really not random. I'm doing mainly the color scheme of the paints that you see in the back with the addition of a seafoam green and magenta. I had really been thinking about this page long and hard for many months. Seriously, I wanted to do some extravagant drawing. I just wouldn't have really enjoyed doing that as much as I am with this, because this doesn't require me to think necessarily, and I can just relax while I'm doing it. So I'm just living life and splatting color all over the page. I am going in now with some acrylic paints, and I'm putting in black and silver. And with the watercolor paint, I did a really cool purple splotch that's a lighter shade than the marker. And the cool thing about using watercolors next to water-based markers like Crayola is that it will cause them to blend and bleed a little bit, which is a really cool effect. Now my background is complete, and I'm not gonna lie, this looks like something that a preschool or kindergartner could easily create, but I'm not gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna glam it up a little bit, make it more mature per se, and go in with a bunch of tiny details. But at the same time, I didn't want to get too crazy, so I'm limiting this to just a few shapes and lines. So I decided to just stick with dashes, dots, stars, and triangles for the most part. I also did some X's, and you may have noticed that I did use Sharpie for some of those black triangles. That's just because the black Crayola was not showing up over the silver paint, but do keep in mind that permanent marker will go through the page, so that did happen a little bit to me, but it looks kind of cool. Then to bring in some more texture and tie the blue in with the rest of the design, I am making these dots with the end of a paintbrush and acrylic paint. Abstract art is so much fun to do, so relaxing. Not to say that an in-depth drawing isn't also relaxing at times, but I just wanted a way to unwind with this page and really get back into the swing of the journal. And I have gotten quite a few comments from some of you saying that you're not really comfortable with drawings and that I should do things that more people can do who don't have a lot of practice. So I think this is perfect. Anyone can really do it, and you don't have to worry about messing it up. It's going to turn out really unique and awesome. Next up, I documented a boring event in detail. Peep the poem about packing boxes. These words all came from the deepest, darkest depths of my brain. I don't know how I thought of any of this really. I just started writing and this is what happened. So if it's not clear, the dark gray is what's meant to be read as the main poem, and then the light gray and little tiny words are kind of like my afterthoughts or my commentary. They are part of the story, but if you try and read them all line for line, it's not going to sound as flowy. Really just want to be done with this. I thought that doing this page in episode 20 and my last Wreck This journal in this apartment, yeah, don't get too worried, I'm still doing more Wreck This journals, but this is the last one that you're gonna see me do in this very apartment that I started the Wreck This journal series in. So my intro background is going to be completely different for the next few episodes until we get to the final flip through. And then even though this is supposed to be a boring page, I wanted to make it interesting by doing a little illustration of my cat Leo in a box. And he does actually really love playing inside boxes, standing on top of them, and also playing with paper bags. He loves those as well. I did let that pen ink dry before going in with the marker just so it wouldn't smear around. I think for the most part it worked in my favor, but in the little corrugated grooves there it did smudge a little bit. I think it adds to the shading, so that's fine with me. And while coloring this, I made sure to try and go in the same direction with all of my lines per side, if that makes sense. So I wanted to follow the angle of the line of the flap, the line on the side, and so on and so forth. Finally, I am coloring in Leo with markers. These specific ones, I think the orange one is a Recollections brush tip marker, and then I am doing colored pencil on top of that to shade his nose. I colored his nose pink, and then I left a lot of white patches on his face because he does have really cool markings. I did add a tiny little mouse toy. I did color the carpet and the wall. Very, very dull colors, very neutral, but this is actually what the room looks like, so I thought this would be a good tribute to, you know, my last week in the apartment. This is a fun contrast because my cat's like, "You are wrong, human. No, boxes are fun. This is not boring. What are you talking about?" The final page I'm doing in this episode is cut through several layers. So for this, I had the idea to do a layer cake, and not just any layer cake. I'm gonna do a rainbow layer cake, and it's gonna have frosting drips coming down. I did want to draw this on a separate piece of paper. I measured it and made sure that it's going to be the right size, and then I did do the little sketch here, which you can see that I totally redid off camera because I am terrible at usually drawing things under pressure and like in the same spot. I moved the paper around a lot. So here it looks more polished and has clean lines, and I'm just going in with those drips of frosting and some piping at the bottom. I thought about making this a marker piece at first, but I do have more practice shading colored pencils, plus I have a lot more colors to be able to blend with here. So I'm using Prismacolor colored pencils. I'm starting with purple at the top, as you can see, and moving all the way down to red. I do start off with my colors kind of light, so I make sure that I blend them pretty well, and then I go over more dark and press harder. So after I have all the base colors down, I am going in one last time and darkening those after outlining the cake with kind of like an off-white yellowy cream color. I did take one of the darkest shades of each color and just outline those so you can tell the separation between the frosting and the cake. Then I cut the image out very carefully, and now this is where I'm following the rules of the page. I know it's a little bit of a stretch, but I think it works. I am cutting through several layers of layer cake. I decided to do a heart cutout, and technically there are no layers in this cake right now, but in imagination land it does, so I'm just going to pretend that it's been there all along by coloring these stripes of color on the page here on a separate piece of paper. And to give a little bit more of a cake texture, I did go ahead and erase that and then go in with a darker shade of each color, and I made a kind of stippling effect, little dots to appear as air bubbles in the cake batter. I do realize that the layers would probably be a lot thicker than this and you wouldn't see every color, but just pretend, and they would be curved to match the roundness of the cake instead of being straight across like this. But still, I think it looks pretty cute after I did tape that on, and this is what the final piece looks like. So I want you guys to get involved in how I finish this page. Where should I put the cake, at the top or the bottom, and what else should I add to bring this page together. I'll choose at least one of your ideas and feature that comment, and if you want to draw a sketch or something and share it with me on Twitter or Instagram, I'll share that in the very next video with the finished page. Also, be sure to comment your favorite page I have ever done, and check out my Wreck This Journal playlist, which will be linked in the description box below, as well as the iCard in the right hand corner. Cat hair floating in the air. I don't think you can see it though. Let me tell you, do not be fooled by the flowers on my shirt. It just snowed here today. Why, Ohio? Why? It's supposed to be spring. I hope to see you guys back here on Sunday for a brand new video. Bye!